Rain hammered against the floor, two ceiling windows of the abandoned opera house. The sound echoed through the vast hall like impatient applause. Once, the building has hosted grand performances. Tonight, it hosted something far deadlier, a peace meeting. Long tables stretched across the marble floor. Armed men stood silently behind their leaders, fingers resting near concealed weapons. One wrong word, one wrong glance, one mistake, and that 100-year rivalry between the Kim and Jeon families would explode into another war. Kim In walked into the hall without slowing her pace. The clicking of her shoes echoed through the silence. She didn't bother looking at the men who watched her enter. Their opinions had never mattered. 24 years old, daughter of the Kim family, raised in a world where trust was a weakness and mercy got people buried. Her black dress was elegant, but the pistol hidden beneath it reminded everyone exactly who she was. She reached her family's side and crossed her arms. "So," she said drily, "they are late. They are making an entrance," her father replied without looking away from the door. How predictable. As if summoned by her words, the enormous wooden doors creaked open. Every guard instinctively straightened. Heavy footsteps echoed across the hall. Then he appeared. Jeon Jungkook, tall, broad-shouldered, tailored black suit, dark hair slightly damp from the rain, a face almost unfairly calm for a man whose name made rival families nervous. He didn't look around the room. He walked as though every inch of it already belonged to him. Behind him came his men, equally silent. When his eyes finally lifted, they landed on him. Time seemed to hesitate. Neither looked away. Neither offered the slightest acknowledgement. The hatred between their families was older than either of them. Yet this was the first time they had met face to face. In expected someone cruel, someone loud, someone eager to prove his power. Instead, he simply looked at her, steady, unreadable. His expression barely changed. That irritated her far more than arrogance would have. So that's Jeon Jungkook, she thought. I expected someone easier to hate. Across the room, Jungkook studied her with equal silence. She wasn't intimidated, not even slightly. Most people avoided eye contact with him. She looked directly into his eyes as if daring him to blink first. Interesting, very interesting. The meeting began. "Our families have lost enough people," one of the older men announced. "No," it interrupted. "Our families have killed enough people." The room fell silent. Jungkook's gaze shifted to her. She continued, "Let's not pretend we are victims." Several men exchanged uncomfortable looks. Her father frowned. Jungkook spoke for the first time. "I agree." Every head turned towards him. Even In looked surprised. "Our pride has cost more lives than territory ever earned." His voice was calm, deep, controlled. He didn't raise it. He didn't need to. She found herself watching him more closely than she intended. Why was he agreeing with her? Was it strategy, manipulation, or did he actually believe it? The negotiations continued for nearly an hour. Every proposal ended the same way: rejected. Accusations replaced diplomacy. Old betrayals resurfaced. Voices grew louder. Hands reached for their weapons. Then a deafening gunshot shattered the room. Glass exploded. Someone screamed. More shots followed from outside. "It's an ambush," Chaz erupted. Men drew weapons. Bullets tore through the windows. Everyone scattered for cover. In reached for her gun. Before she could fire, a sniper's bullet shattered the pillar beside her. Stone fragments flew toward her face. Then, a strong arm wrapped around her waist. She was pulled backward with such a force that they both crashed behind another marble column. Another bullet struck exactly where she'd been standing seconds earlier. Her heart pounded violently. "What are you?" She stopped. Jungkook. He had dragged her out of the sniper's line of fire. For one suspended heartbeat, they were impossibly close. His hand was still around her waist, her shoulder pressed against his chest. Rain-soaked air drifted through the broken windows. Neither of them moved. Neither seemed to remember the bullets still flying outside. His eyes searched hers quickly. "Are you hurt?" His voice was low, urgent. She stared at him, confused. Why would her enemy save her? She finally found her voice. "You should have let me get shot." A faint smile tugged at one corner of his mouth. "If I wanted you dead," he murmured, "I would not let someone else take the credit." Against every instinct, against every ounce of the common sense, she almost smiled. Almost. Then another explosion shook the building. The moment shattered. But neither of them realized that, in those few stolen seconds between bullets and silence, something far more dangerous than a mafia war had begun.